Hi, everybody. This is Cynthia with F.F.T. helping others um, and the domestic violence rally of 2019. Oh my gosh, I just noticed that I'm worried. I just noticed that I'm so worried, please. I just got home with my husband. We were just at this amazing Habitat of Humanity banquet, and it was amazing. My husband just got honored with his company, with the company that he works for the Habitat of Humanity. He just got this award. It was really nice. And hey, Jessica, how you doing? And the question for today, it's what really matters? You know, what are the intentions? Matter. Intentions do really matter, right? What draws you to being a helper? Think about that. What really does that? And this is going to be short because I really want to spend some time with my husband. So, what are intentions that really matter to you as you are in domestic violence? Helping out with domestic violence? What are some things that really intentionally help to help others? I mean, what are those intentions? What are those things that help you to help others? Whether it's your story, whether it's your testimony, whether it's, your intention to help others. Hey, Emily, how are you? And, what drew you to be here? Was it your compassion? Was it your understanding for others? Was it your process of, being able to be sympathetic? What was it that drew you here? Sometimes you have to jot it down and say, hey, this is the reason why I came to this point and this real of being here. This is a realness. This is like a real thing, sometimes our real wounds, and I call it the wounds of compassion, are wounds that make it real for both of us, for all of us, because really we all relate to one another. We really do. Our physical symptoms, our emotional symptoms, our behavioral symptoms, all of these things, we relate to one another. And sometimes it can get kind of real, guys. It can get really, really real. And we have to be very cautious. And those things can burn us out. They can be very secondary when we're dealing with victimization of somebody. And so we have to be very cautious that when we're dealing with something like that, and when we're talking to somebody or something like that, hey, Michael, we have to separate those things, especially when we're talking to somebody, and that we are not including our own wounds with their wounds. And although we want to share our story, hey, Holly, we want to make sure that we step into compassion with them, but we want to make sure that we hear them out, and sometimes we have to process their pain and say, hey, I'm here for you, but we also want to step back and hear what they're saying. That's a big thing. Being able to sit and wait and listen. And sometimes that can be hard when we are sitting here going, man, I want to tell them my story. I want to tell them my testimony, what I went through, and how I can help them. But constantly we need to wait to not be on the defense and be on the offense, and just kind of wait and sit, and sometimes we have to wait and listen, and we have to be precocious. Yeah, we have to be really waitful, so that they can ask for our help. We are a generation in that we just want to jump and give an opinion instead of just wait and for somebody to ask for it. And that can stress people out. And we have to be really mindful about that. And so, what are those intentions? What is the intention of, of that, the lack of being able to listen? Hey, if somebody calls you and, and they say, hey, I really need your help in being able to, need your help on an exit plan. How are you going to give it to them? Do you know how to give it to them? If somebody needs to go through their traumatization, do you know how to do that? Being able to sit and just listen to what they have gone through. Being able to have that 5 minute, of listening in that waiting time of listening. We have to give that listening time and have that survival association in which we just separate ourselves and give that separation from what we feel to what they feel. So, hey Freddie, how you doing? Hey Charles, how are you? Remember, they're traumatized, and we have to remember that. Remember, they're going through a situation that we had gone through. Hey Jazzy, how you doing? That's my sister. And we have to remember that a lot of these people have, sometimes when they come on these groups, what we're looking at right here, they are not gone through groups, and they have not gone to a mental health specialist yet. And so we have to be well aware that a lot of these people have not gone to a core health specialist yet. They have not gone to a core health therapist yet, or a core health psychiatrist yet. And so we want to make sure that we give them that ability to help them, to say, hey, make sure that you go to a psychiatrist, make sure you go to a counselor, make sure you go to a group that will help you. It's essential that you go there. We want to make sure that we refer them to those places, because we want everybody to be healthy. And remember, we went through those things too in our lives when we were trying to go through our survival skills. We needed to have that compassion, and we needed to refer for somebody to refer us as well. And so that's what we're trying to do, is we need somebody to help us along our path, and then we need someone to help us with that. And so make sure that when you're referring, make sure you tell them that. And make sure that you have a list. Always you have a list of good healthcare providers that you can say, hey, listen, here's some good healthcare providers that I can refer you to, that you can go and see. Here's some great places for groups that you can go and talk to, and that would really help you out. If not, here's some great apps. If not, here's some great numbers. I really would like you to go. And if not, you can always come back and talk to me. I really would like you to continue to come and talk to me, but I also want you to continue to go to a group, because a group is a great way for you to have a one-on-one relationship with others, and we want them to do that. We want them to have a relationship with a group, and we want them to have a relationship with a counselor, a leader, a pastor, someone that will be able to help them along their journey. And it's very essential for them to be able to grow. And intentions matter. Hashtag intentions matter. So we want our good intentions to matter. And so this is something that, somebody might have told us back in the day, or somebody might not have told us back in the day. And we had to learn during hard knocks. So we need to be able to have somebody to help us or help somebody else. So this is something that I'm trying to, help you guys right now. And, be well aware that the tendencies of a good, person who's trying to help another person through trauma, is to be able to give that survival skills, to say, hey, listen, I have some great survival skills, some great reading material. This is what helped me. Here's some great books. Here's some great persons that helped me along the way. Here's some great videos. I listened to this video. I listened to this video. Here's some great book. Here's some great knowledge. This is what helped me 5 years ago. This is some great stuff I learned 2 years ago. I went to this conference. I went to this symposium. I went to this thing and I went to that thing. Here's a great doctor who helped me. And making sure that you keep that kind of stuff will help another person along their path and along their journey. But if you keep those kind of techniques to yourself, those intentions won't matter, So you got to make sure that you are mindful of those techniques and that you are noticing what reactions, and you're calming yourself, and that you're observing what you are saying. You're highlighting your intentions. You are reacting to your storytelling. You are reflecting on your testimony, that you're reflecting on your compassion, that you're reacting to the identity that you are trying to identify towards them, that not all stories are the same, that not all relationships are the same, that you may identify with them in some sort of way, that you can identify to their story in a portion by saying, yes, we've been abused the same, by saying, yes, we've gone through certain trauma together, but that you need to stand still and quiet for a moment and say, okay, I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be attentive. I want to listen to your story. I want to listen to what you have to say. And sometimes, like I always say, sometimes we have to listen with our ears, listen with our heart, listen to with our spirit, and listen and be mindful of what God has to say to us and what the Spirit has to say to us, because sometimes what they're going through is something totally different than what we went through. And sometimes we need to go through like what the Rolodex of what we've learned, so that we can give them like, okay, we need to pick this out so that we can help them out through that experience and say, okay, let me pick out this thing that I've gone through 5 years ago. Because what I went through 10 years ago is not going to work out for that person. But maybe something I went through 5 years ago definitely will work out. But something I went through 10 years is not going to work for this person. But something I went through something that worked 7 years, yeah, that'll work. Let me give that to her or to him. So going through those exercises, and even working through some exercises with a friend of yours and saying, hey, can I role play with you? Hey, Alina, hey, Tamika, role playing with a friend and saying, hey, can I role play with you? Because I'm on a lot of chat groups that are for domestic violence, and I want to role play back with you because sometimes I type things or I say things, or I want to make sure that I'm using the right verbiage and I'm using the right knowledge, and I want to make sure I'm not hurting anybody's feelings. I want to use the right intention matters, so that I want to make sure that I am not hurting anybody, because we want to make sure a lot of people have fresh wounds. They're not healed yet, and we want to make sure that when we talk to them through the right intentions. We want to make sure that we're using the right verbiage, the right words, the right word actions, and so let's use the right actions, the right action words, and use the right the right things that we can say. Tamika says yes, because everyone responds differently to experiences. We must choose an appropriate approach that is customized to each person. Exactly. Just like Tamika says. Hi, Elisa. How are you? So, role playing maybe with a friend, and even through the mirror. You don't really have to role play with a friend. You can role play in your own mirror. It may seem crazy. It may seem awkward, but role playing by just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Just role playing by yourself and just acting like you're, the friend or the person, and just role playing out the situation. That way, you know exactly the words to say, what not to say, how you act, what not to act. And if you have to even write out the situation on a notebook or something like that, it gives you a strategy, or it gives you a role play. And even as an actor would act out his situation, you're not really an actress, and this is not something which you're acting, but it gives you the right choice of words so that you don't fumble for the right choice of words when the situation happens. You just know exactly what to say and where to go to. You can say, "Hey, I have numbers that you can call. I have an app that will help you." You can have everything in front of you that you can say, "Hey, listen, I have Victims app." You can go to Victims Voice app that'll help you. Hey, I have bright, sky. Like I have my notebooks, like you guys saw me the other night, and you guys saw that I had them all right in front of me, and you guys saw my notebook, and it was right there in front of me when I talked to you guys. It was right there, and I spoke to you guys. That's exactly what you guys need. Something in which when you speak to people, you guys have it in front of you, and it's like, "Oh, hey, listen, there's this number, just call 741-741, and it'll help you out." Or, "Hey, there's this app called Bright Sky, and it'll really help you out." So making sure that you have the good exercises, so it will prevent you from having any issues or opportunities to make mistakes, really goes a long way. Yes, especially for cases that are close to your situation. Yeah, because then you have to be able to help while being triggered. Exactly. There are times, and I agree, Tamika. There are times when you will be talking to another person and you are going to start being triggered, and that's exactly what we're talking about. There are times when we'll be talking to somebody and we will be triggered. It's called vicarious traumatization that can mimic PTSD reactions in intrusion, flooding, avoidance reactions. And so that actually starts to traumatize us as well. And so we have to have exactly what to say so we don't start traumatizing ourselves. And so that vicarious traumatization will start to traumatize us, and we have to have exactly the right words so we don't have flashbacks or nightmares or any kind of avoidance to the person that we're talking to, that we don't disrupt the perception of safety, that we don't have feelings of no longer being in a safe place, that we don't have unwanted memories, or especially if we're having perception of hyper alertness, constantly being on guard or jumpy, and we're not being defensive with the person. We definitely don't want to be on hyper defensive with the person, because really it's not the person, it's us. And we don't want to be defensive with them, but we don't want to be in that traumatic state, because we're talking about their story and it relates too much to ours. It mimics our story, and we don't want to be in hyper vigilance to our story. We don't want to be in a hyper alertness. And so being in that hyper alertness will put us in a state of, it will put us in a place of defensiveness, and we don't want to be there. We don't want to sit there and be like, jumpy. And we really have to be in a place where we feel comfortable, we feel at ease, We feel, especially telling our story and being able to be comfortable with theirs, you know. And, we should be in a place that we feel like, okay, my 17 years ago is good. I'm in a happy place and I'm good. I can proceed to listen to their story and be comfortable by listening to theirs. And that's exactly where we should feel comfortable to listen to what they're now talking about. If they're going through their nightmares, I should not have to have my nightmares uproar and us sharing nightmares together, and then both of us be in a hypervigilance, and a craziness. Hey, Rusty. So we shouldn't feel like, oh my God, things are going all crazy. We should both feel safe, and we should both be in a safe haven, and both of us should have a safe place, um so there should be no process of exposure in which we both don't feel safe, I agree. Yes, being in control is a big thing, but there has to be a place in which we should build a survivor skill that should build a compassion, but we have to start building those skills up, So I would definitely ask that you guys start to build those skills up. Start to build up that repertoire, that those skills. Start to write things down. Start to think of what you would say. Because I see a lot of you guys. Hi, Carol. How are you? I see a lot of you guys in groups, and a lot of you guys want to, hey, this happened to me, and hey, this. Let's go ahead and build each other up, because we do. We build each other up. We're a community. We build each other up. We want to support one another because we're a support system. So by supporting each other, hey, Sandra, we're a support system. And because we're our support system, we have to rely on one another. And so let's try to support up and try to uplift one another. And so by utilizing our survivor skills that we have already have really refined and know what our survivor skills are, and now we've learned so much throughout the years, and say, oh well, man, I've read this book and I read this book, and my healthcare provider has helped me through this, and my psychologist helped me through this, and I'm still seeing him or her, and I'm still, I've utilized my group, and my group is really well. Maybe I can help another person to go to my group, and this and that. These are skills that now you can help another person process through, and you can help them go to your group. Yes, but we should give one another solutions. Exactly, and that's exactly what we should do. We should definitely be doing that, giving them more solutions so that they can progress to their better healthy place. Yes. So, I hope that you guys get something good out of this. Again, this is a hashtag good intentions. Intentions matter. Hashtags intentions matter. And remember, use those survival skills. Help somebody with theirs. Yes. And so I am going to take this off because I shouldn't have it on because I forgot to take it off. And I'm going to go and spend time with my hubby. So, all right. I love you guys. Listen, like I always say, you are beautiful. You're lovely. I love you. And you know that God loves you too. And I mean it. Okay? Have a good night. Go have some chocolate. Okay. Bye, guys. Talk to you later.